So this job is brushing on a steep slope above a highway. here we got a little situation where we don't have a lot of choices where to put our burn piles, because we don't want to kill the leaf trees from the heat when we burn this winter, but we sure don't want to melt some power lines and have them drop down on the highway. Nice clear spot down there would be a great spot for a burn pile, but if you get these piles going too hot, they can literally melt those wires. So we stay away from the power lines with brush piles. And I think you filmed a little bit when I was working by that guy wire. Guys, you got to really be careful working around these power poles and guy wires. Never lose track where that guy wire is, because what can happen is you'll get that caught on your track or behind the machine, don't realize it, you back up into it and pull the whole pole right over on top of yourself with hot power lines. So really pay attention. This is the kind of job that I certainly don't recommend anybody just go out and rent a machine and try for themselves. It's not the place to learn. If you want to learn how to run equipment, start on flat ground without power poles around. Give yourself plenty of wide open space, and then gradually go to more and more difficult terrain. This is not a place for a beginner at all. And if you're a landowner, you got a lot, like a ranch or something where you have a lot of land, start on the easier areas first with your rental machine, and gradually work your way up to the more difficult places. As you do that, you'll learn the capabilities of your machine and the limits of your machine. And you got to know the limits of your machine. So, okay, keep going here.
Headache. As you said, you can't roll down a hill, up a hill. Oh!
So here I'm just showing the final results of this brushing project we did about a year ago now. Sorry for all the traffic noise. But the customer opted to not burn off the brush piles. I was going to do a separate video to show how we burn off these brush piles without scorching the trees that stay behind that are still there. But she decided to keep the brush piles for the wildlife. The quail around here really love to be in brush piles, so probably in a few years we'll burn them. But anyway, you can see the grass has come back nicely. Okay, here hopefully the sun's not so glaring. But anyway, you can just see I was just going to say before all that traffic went by, hopefully you can just see how nicely the grass has come back and the trees are nicely spaced and they're all skirted up, so there's no limbs coming down off the trees to the ground. So if a fire does go through here, it's just going to be a grass fire. And it'll be much easier for the fire department to put out than what they would have had on their hands previously with all the brush growing in there amongst those trees. So that's what, fire safety brushing's all about. And really, I mean, she should have burned those piles off, but she's kind of a nature lover and wants to give the quail a home. And I'm sure the quail are thick in there, because they love to be in those brush piles. And they'll use those brush piles for a few years, but eventually those piles will kind of sink down from decaying, and then they get filled with mice and rats, and then the snakes come in for the mice and rats, and then the quail lose interest in being in there because they don't want to be in these piles that are filled with snakes. So that's when it's a good time to burn them off. So anyway, I don't mean to be filming this propane yard here. It's just across the street from the job, but I wanted to get in the truck so you could hear me a little better. The traffic noise is pretty loud here. This here is an old granite quarry that a propane company bought and uses as their storage yard, so that's all this is. You can kind of see some granite over there. Anyway, that's the final story of that brushing job. I just thought I'd show you the after picture a year later. Alright guys, comment below if you have any questions, or let me know if it was of any value or help to you.